Hi, everybody. I'm Trish Laub, and welcome to A Cup of Comfort with me. This is about CareHeroes. If you're new to the show today, welcome. And just like everyone who joined me for the first episode, you're probably thinking right now, what? CareHero? What's she talking about? And I don't blame you. If you joined me for the last episode, welcome to you. I declared that from that moment forward, your new title is CareHero, someone who has willingly stepped into your responsibility and the great caregiving unknown, a true hero. To those of you who are new to the show today, check out the first episode where I answer the question, what is a care hero? And tell you that from now on, you too are a care hero. So now that we all know what a care hero is, let's celebrate each and every one of you by proudly saying, I am a care hero. Hopefully you're beginning to believe it because it's true. And yes, this show is about care hero topics that nobody wants to talk about. So today I am incredibly excited because we're going to be talking about something that was announced just 2 weeks ago. I want to make it clear that regardless of the name of what my guest today is going to discuss, it's a useful tool that applies to all care heroes, regardless of the diagnosis of your loved one. So, are you ready to get going? I am. Let's step back in time for a moment. In the old days, Granny came to live with the family and was a little forgetful and possibly referred to as senile, and over time she required more assistance. The family brought her into their home so that she would be kept safe, cared for, and loved. And honestly, no one thought much of it. Likely, many of those thought to be senile really had what we now refer to as dementia, or more possibly Alzheimer's. But what is dementia? Is it Alzheimer's? Or is it different? And if it's different, how? Do you know? I didn't. Dementia is a broad term for a set of symptoms that can include an individual's changes in these three things: memory, thinking, or reasoning. It's an umbrella of a variety of diseases, but not a disease in and of itself. There are many possible causes of dementia, including Alzheimer's, but there are also well over 100 different types of diseases that fall under the umbrella of dementia. Alzheimer's disease is the most common cause or specific type of dementia. It makes up approximately 70% of all dementia diagnoses. The other 30% include Lewy body, frontotemporal, Huntington's, Parkinson's, vascular, posterior cortical atrophy, and many, many more. There are differences between each specific diagnosis, but there are similarities that place them under the same umbrella of symptoms that are known as dementia. If someone is said to have dementia, it's not a specific diagnosis. Rather, it's a statement that a person is experiencing specific symptoms, specifically changes in memory, thinking, or reasoning, and that possibly a definitive diagnosis such as Alzheimer's or Lewy body has not yet been made. So you might be asking, how many people are living with dementia? Let's look at Alzheimer's and remember that it accounts for approximately 70% of all dementia diagnoses. Currently, there are an estimated 50 million people worldwide living with Alzheimer's, including more than 5 million Americans. For those 5 million Americans living with Alzheimer's, it requires approximately 25 million care heroes. Without changes in prevention or treatment, and at a rate of an Alzheimer's diagnosis every 67 seconds, yes, let me repeat that. Someone is diagnosed with Alzheimer's every 67 seconds. This number could reach nearly 16 million by 2050. That's only 30 years from now, requiring nearly 80 million caregivers in the US alone. The projections for Alzheimer's worldwide by 2050 are staggering. It's projected that there will be 160 million living with Alzheimer's, approaching half the population of this country. And that's worldwide, and will require the services of 800 million care heroes. Now, remember that Alzheimer's accounts for approximately 70% of all dementia. Increase all of those numbers I mentioned another 30% to see the impact of all dementias. Are you doing the math and overwhelmed? I am. Those are some really, really big numbers, and the costs associated with them for providing care are gigantic. I want to remind you at the end of the show, there will be a downloadable PDF with some of the details that I've just covered and information that my guest is going to be going over today as well. You can find that PDF on my website, Trish Laub, that's Trish, Laub, Laub as in boy.com, on the CareHero radio page. So, on my journey, I have found that there are many like-minded people in the care industry to whom dementia care and stifling the stigma is a mission. Even for me, though, it's been a journey to find them. And I now know that there were many resources out there to help me on my CareHero journey, but I really couldn't find them until I became one of those resources. My guest today is here with exciting news that will change all of that. Lori Laub is an icon in the field of Alzheimer's and dementia care. She is a change agent known around the world when it comes to dementia care. You can ask Oprah, Maria Shriver, Dr. Oz, AARP Minnesota, or the National Institute of Dementia Education, who has all recognized her cutting-edge approach to shift global dementia care from crisis to comfort. Lori's own mom lived with dementia for 30 years, causing her to create AlzheimersSpeaks.com in 2009, which continues to provide multiple platforms educating, raising awareness, shifting perceptions, and sharing resources with families and professionals regarding Alzheimer's disease, other forms of dementia, and how we care. Welcome, Lori. It's a pleasure to have you today. Hi.
Well, I am so excited to be here and be on your show. I just, as soon as we connected, I mean, I just felt that liked mind link. And, there's so much of that can happen, when people reach out. And when people introduce one another, it's just incredible, the peace it can give somebody within, and also the excitement and the energy that it can fuel to do more.
Absolutely. And what I love about this whole industry per se is that there's this synergy of people who want to help other people through this process. And I got to be honest, I don't get excited about a lot of things. I really don't. I'm like kind of, just going through. This I find super exciting. The potential for it is amazing. So I'm going to let you tell our audience of CareHeroes how and why you got involved in the arena of dementia, and then how we got to what you're going to talk about today.
Okay. Well, my mom lived with dementia for 30 years, and I can't tell you how many times I was told, she can't have that. They don't live that long. It's not possible. And it's like, well, the first 10 years she was diagnosed, basically was told it was her menopause. And my mom would say, this ain't my girlfriend's menopause. She's like, we've talked about it and I'm having different symptoms than that. But it took 10 years for her to get diagnosed. And then once we as a family were dealing with this diagnosis, we felt so isolated and alone. We weren't even given the name of the Alzheimer's Association. We didn't know where to go or what to do. And you just kind of spin going, really? We're the only ones in the world? I don't think so. There's got to be others. And so, you kind of muddle through it. And then, about 20 years into all the symptoms, I decided to shift gears and create Alzheimer's Speaks. I thought, okay, it's been 20 years, nothing's changed. No one is still connecting people to services or talking about things that are available. And I thought, I'm going to leave my career of real estate that I never thought I'd leave. And I'm going to step in and I'm going to try to do something different, because I can't live with myself not trying.
I absolutely understand that.
And it really was a very spiritual driven thing. People are like, are you crazy? What are you doing? And yet I had this whole other group that was saying, you have hope. You have choice. You found joy. People need to hear that story. And so I really went out to create Alzheimer's Speaks to raise everyone's voice and to do it on a multitude of platforms. So the blog, the radio show, the video, interviews, all of those things. Everybody learns different, takes stuff in different, And so we need to reach people on different levels. We need to focus on not just those who have gone to school and learned all the bookworm and stuff that's done. Not that that's not good, but listen, folks, in the trenches, there's a lot to be learned.
Yeah.
And there are great tidbits and nuggets and lessons that can be shared that are real every day, and not just from daughters and spouses and friends who care, but for the people actually diagnosed. They have tons of great insights. And so my goal was really all about that. And in May, Dave Wiedrich, who has the Memory Cafe directory, approached me and said, Laura, I hear you talking on the radio all the time. We need this resource directory. So why don't we just do it? And so in May, thank God Dave's tech savvy, because I know enough to be dangerous, but I know not a lot in depth, but I have had this vision for 36 years.
Wow.
Being able to connect people. So we've built this site called Dementia Map, and the goals are really simple: to connect people to the resources they need, to have it free and accessible. We don't ask anybody for information up front. What's your name? Who are you looking for? Then we'll release, our information. We want it to be safe. We want it to be comfortable. We want it to be easy, and we want it accessible 24/7. Now we are growing it organically. We're not plugging in everybody, who's out there. We want people who get it, who really have a passion. And I think, like you said, I think this thing's just going to blow up and go, because every person that is in there has said, can I share this? Can you believe we haven't had this pulled together for us yet? I mean, people understand the need. And the need is multi-level, and it's got to be not just serving those with dementia and the families, but it also has to serve the businesses, and the volunteers. I mean, there's a lot of people doing stuff for nothing out there that have great advice, but it has to even out the playing field for the big and the small companies, because it doesn't make any difference how big or small you are. It's about, what are you providing? Is it truly serving, or is it just this thing in your head that you think needs to be done, but you really haven't listened to
Right.
the people and you're off the mark? And I truly also believe that people have the right of choice. I don't want a company telling me what may or may not work for my family, because you know what? You don't know us.
Right.
Not at the depth and the level you need to be involved in that decision making. And I don't want you holding things back because you're not getting a referral fee for each little piece that's going out. We didn't want to be a middleman, and hold hostage these leads. Nobody owns anybody in this community, and people have a right of choice. And so it was all about connecting people directly. And so, I had built a resource directory on my own site years ago, and but it wasn't near as easy to maneuver as what Dave has developed for us. And so it's very exciting. It has basically 4 points in categories that the public in general will leverage. One is the resource directory, which is quite extensive. We've got about 150 different categories and subcategories, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. We have an events calendar, because nobody knows where stuff is. And
Right.
one of the most brilliant things is, and is kind of a backwards gift from COVID, but it's forced people to go virtual. It's forced people to realize something doesn't have to be in your backyard to be useful. So you and I can do a lot for people, and they don't have to live in our neighborhood. They don't have to be in our state. They don't even have to be in our country.
I don't have to leave home.
Yeah, but we can still
Yeah.
be supportive to one another. So it's kind of taken
Absolutely.
that out of the mix as well. And for people to be able to find all the different things that are out there. It was kind of funny, because when we started this, I was approaching people with other radio shows, and they're like, "Well, why would you want other radio shows? You were the first one who started." And it's like, I'm not the only one. And we all have different voices. We're all coming from different perspectives, and we all
Mhm.
have something to offer. And
Yes,
we learn from one another. So to me,
absolutely.
it's really about raising voices, making it easy to find things. I want to be able to hook people up to all of the wonderful social media groups out there that
Mhm.
are lifting people through Facebook. I mean, I wouldn't have known to go to Facebook and put in caregiver support group or Lewy body or vascular or,
Right.
all I wouldn't have even thought of that because nobody tells you. So our goal is to grow this website so that hospitals and clinics will actually say, hey, here's a couple of things that you might want to look
Mhm.
into. This is a great resource. Because one of the things that I found is that a lot of doctors don't give a lot of hope because they don't have it. They don't know all of these things exist. And so it's really been fun to connect people and just raise their voice. And we're just starting, so it's all about you get excited, you go tell somebody else about it,
Yeah.
and it's just gonna I know it's gonna happen. That's what happened on my own site in my own community base with
Mhm.
Alzheimer Speaks. It's all been word of mouth. And when you share and when you lift and when you learn, there's nothing better. There's just
Absolutely.
nothing better. And, we'll
So
have a blog on there too, just real quick, where people
yeah.
can submit blogs and we'll be able to raise their profiles doing that, sharing the advertising space. So, we've got rotating banner ads that will give people equal access and be visible, not just in the listings in the way that people can search from geographic area to category to, whatever. But yeah, it's very, very exciting. So go ahead.
Well,
I'm sorry.
no, I just want to restate or again a couple things. First of all, this is entirely free to people looking for help, for
Yep.
resources, for products. It's entirely free. You don't even have to set up an account. That is an amazing thing in this day and age. Um, Two, I just want to really reinforce what Lori said. In this industry, it's not about competing. It's about, I heard Lori say, she told me a couple days before the official announcement that this was happening. I'm like, oh my gosh, please come on and talk about it so that another audience can hear about this. It's all about getting the information out there. And number three, and I told Lori this, my formal education is in tech. And so I tend to be kind of a website snob. And this is designed, it's awesome. It's clean, it's easy, it's useful, it's a powerful design for a tool. It's very clean and it's not all uh cluttered up with bells and whistles that nobody cares about. It's beautiful, but it's really a usable resource. And I don't get excited about stuff like this usually, but I am. So, and I'm on there, so I jumped on that in a hot minute.
Oh, well, and we are just thrilled to have you with us. It's been really fun to kind of morph through this whole process.
Yeah.
Dave and I kind of working our way through this, and he really is the guy who's really taken control of all the techie pieces
Yeah.
and just trying to, like you said, trying to make it clean. We purposely don't have moving and flashing things
Mhm.
because that's difficult for a person with dementia. And I'll be honest, I'm 61 and all those things got me looking too. And I'm doing this and then I
Yeah.
lose I lose my place just like anybody
Bright,
else.
shiny things.
Yeah, yeah. What's next? What's next? And
Yeah.
we have listed all the categories, which can be overwhelming, but I purposely told Dave, I want the big list because I
Yeah.
want people to look at it and go, "Oh my gosh, there's hope. There's thing I didn't know all of this
Mhm.
exists," but we know that that's overwhelming. So we've broken it down by activities, which covers
Right.
everything from adult day to seasonal activities to music and memory cafes, spirituality, sensory, arts, all of those types of things. We have a educational category, which talks about everything from best practices and terms and becoming dementia friendly or brain fitness, getting diagnosed, human rights to hospice and palliative care. And we wanted to make sure that we had a place for the voice of those with dementia and the voice of the care partners as well, because they just have such incredible information. We have a housing category that isn't just memory care, because people don't just live in memory, but it's more
Right.
community care. We didn't get into the whole open real estate market, though there's a lot of people still living in their homes. But we do want real estate agents who work and understand this to be part of this too, to guide people. And then we
Sure.
have a media category where you can find articles, you can find books, if they're audio, if they're physical, if they're ebooks, like all of Trish's series. We've got people who do online streaming or who have done podcasts or radio shows or
Mhm.
video or film. And then we've got, a section for products, which can be anything from technology to incontinence and hygiene, to awareness and accessibility, and then support services, which is all over the board. And I particularly wanted in that support services to have charitable organizations too, because I think so many
Mhm.
times people don't know where to find things. And then we have a category for business to business, which can help people who might be speakers or trainers connect with businesses, or care management
Right.
systems, those types of things. So
Yep.
it's very exciting.
It is, and I want to be sure that that you've told them how to find it.
Mhm. So that's easy. It's just dementiamap.com,
Awesome.
dementiamap.com. And I'm actually doing live demo tours. And so if you go to the site, there's tabs, and there's tabs that have blue text, and those are kind of your primary search ones. And then the white ones
Mhm.
are, do I want to be a member? Do I have something that I want to add to this directory?
Yeah.
That's there. And you can go to Dementia Map there and pull down, and it'll say tours, and then you can go ahead and pick. And we have both free listing for people, because again, we didn't want this to be a budget limiting thing.
Right.
Only people with
Right.
money can be there. So there's a free listing, and then there are 2 paid tiers, which allow those people more exposure in different ways. So
Lori, I'm so sorry we're going to be out of time here, but I want to say while you're still here that for care heroes that are not providing care for someone with dementia, there are a lot of great products and resources on there as well. There's a foot bar walker that applies to anybody who needs a walker, and you can go on the website and search on that and see it. There's elder care solutions. There's all kinds of things that are of great value to people, no matter who you're caring for. Again, Lori, you can find her on alzheimersspeaks.com. I'm so grateful that you came and joined us today. I hope everybody goes and checks dementiamap.com out. And the PDF that you can download off of my website's CareHero radio page has all of Lori's contact information in it, her social media information all the information she just went over, as well as the information I went over at the beginning of the show. So thank you so much for joining me. I'm sorry to be done
thank
so soon.
you.
I know we could talk about this forever. So thank you again.
Thank you. And thank you to your audience as well. I hope to run into them and hope to be able to help.
And check Lori out. She is a guru. And I have to wrap things up here. So I'm so sorry. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
I want
Bye-bye.
to thank everybody for tuning in today and sharing this time. Join me the second and fourth Tuesday of the month at 12 Pacific and 3 Eastern. Next time on December 8th, I'll meet you here again, and we'll have a special guest to talk about bridging the gap between you and your healthcare providers. If you have questions, suggestions, anything, reach out to me on trishlaub.com. That's LAUB as in boy. I want to wish you all a happy Thanksgiving. And I know it'll be a little bit different this year, but there's always something to be thankful for, and try something new. I will be back after the holiday. Remember that this is a safe place for you to hear about topics, ask questions, and to get answers. Until next time, remember that you are a care hero.